Hey, everybody. Welcome to Snack Size DFS for Saturday, April the 5th, 2025. I'm Dan Basbris. Again, as always, just here to introduce the program and my good buddy Brenton Eckersley, who will be breaking down the DFS card for Saturday in roughly 20 minutes or less, give or take. Sometimes he gets a little jazzed up and gets rolling with it. Before I throw it over to Brenton, I want to quickly remind you guys that our new partners here at Old Man Squad are the good folks at My Bookie. That's right. March Madness time. It is upon us, and every game at My Bookie is a chance to cash in. Tournament started a few weeks ago, but guess what? It's rolling every night, promising high-stakes matchups, wild finishes. That's what March Madness is known for. And big time, this is what My Bookie is known for, betting opportunities. And right now, Bet and Get is back. That's a My Bookie promo. When you bet on March Madness, you get a surprise reward. Could be a free bet, could be cash back, could be bonus chips for the casino. You just never know what's coming with Bet and Get when you bet on March Madness. So whether it's a number one seed rolling or an underdog shocking the world, smart bettors know the real money is made one game at a time. So sign up now. Promo code is MM, like the candy, MM, or if you're a fan of the show, The Boys, MM. You can boost your bankroll with a deposit bonus by signing up with that code MM50, MM50. I think I screwed it up the first time around. If you don't want the bonus, that's okay too. Don't want to deal with the rollovers, just let them know we sent you. MM50. Bet on every game, anytime, from anywhere, only with My Bookie. Terrain72, that's his handle. Oh, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Now it's Brenton time.
What is up, fantasy fanatics, DFS degenerates? It's Brenton Eckersley here. Thank you, Dan, for the welcome as always. Good to be back for Snack Size DFS. This is your Saturday, April the 5th DraftKings card. There are only 5 games on Saturday, and DraftKings have actually dropped the early game out of the main slate. So Atlanta, New York will not be part of this presentation. If you haven't been to Snack Size DFS before, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Snack Size DFS is basically a abbreviated version, a snack size version of the breakdown of the coming days DraftKings NBA DFS slate. So I record early here in case you're not aware. The games for Friday NBA games have just started. We have most of the information we're probably going to get for the Saturday games. So I tend to just hold off until we've got a whole heap of news to work with. We do have plenty to go with. One note of interest is that the Clippers and the Mavs are playing a back-to-back here against each other. So they're going to play later today on the Friday. We don't have all of that news yet. So there's a few things to take note of there. If Davis comes in on the Friday, he's probably unlikely to play the Saturday, things like that. And that's how we operate here at Snack Size DFS. We go early, we go fairly quickly, we get you primed and pumped and lubricated for the coming days DraftKings slate. That's enough waffling on from me. As I said, we have 4 games on this main classic card. I just wanted to mention again, I'm probably wrapping up at the end of the regular season. Snack Size, we work here on the classic format in DraftKings, and what we'll find as the playoffs begin is that the fewer games we have on the game days, the more showdown type of cards DraftKings tend to put out, and I just don't play those. So it would be a little bit reckless of me to come in here and think I'm giving you good advice on showdown slates when I don't play them. There's a good point. Please drop down in the YouTube comments your showdown strategies. I don't play it a lot. I have messed with it before. Didn't really have much success. So I'd love to know what your strategies are for those showdown cards. Do you go high price captains and low price flex positions? Do you keep it mid on all levels. Do you play a low price captain? I don't think I've ever tried to do that before. Yeah, it's just of interest. And some other guys out there who haven't played Showdown may get some knowledge from comments that you could leave me in the YouTube channel. Oh man, I said let's get into it. So let's actually get into it now. Saturday, April the 5th. 4 games on this card. Game pace notes, Detroit taking on Memphis is going to be the quicker game of the day. Probably not overly fast, as Detroit will keep that game total down, but Memphis quite quick. The slow one of the day, I expect to be the Bucks taking on the Heat. Attack and stack, only really one team to look at here, and that is any team playing Philly at the moment, and that will be the Timberwolves in this one. Pace bumps, Detroit definitely get a very juicy pace bump versus the Grizzlies, and a small pace bump for the Clippers taking on Dallas. Let's jump into the first game. Memphis taking on Detroit in Detroit. As I mentioned, this is probably going to be the fastest one of the day. It's a back-to-back here for the Pistons. So I believe that game has already started here. On the Pistons injury report, we've got Cade and Tobias Harris out on the Friday. So keep an eye on the news there. We also know that Isaiah Stewart is suspended, and I believe he's got 1 game. So he may actually come back into this Saturday game. Of little relevance to us, though, Isaiah Stewart. On the Memphis side of things, Vince Williams is the only guy ruled out on the Friday at the moment. Sorry, that is an old report. Let me quickly jump out here and jump over here for the Friday games. Just quickly looking. Yeah, there's no Memphis here. I don't know what that report there from myself is all about. And yeah, it's only Vince Williams Jr. really that we have to worry about for Memphis at this point. Sorry about that. Just want to get my ducks in a row. So looking at Memphis, Ja Morant, 8,900. That's a little price drop. We like that price for Ja. He's probably still too cheap for the current output. He did have a slightly down game in the last one, but still reached a roundabout value with a 42 DK point outing. But you can see the scores before that. Some nice high ones. It is a slowdown and a fairly tough matchup against Detroit, but I don't mind Ja here. I think we have better options. He could be a bit of a contrarian play, GPP option. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. here at 7,500, though. He's had a price drop too. This is a great price for Triple J. $500 price drop. He only put up 20 DK points versus Detroit, but that should say 20 minutes that he played in a fairly chunky blowout. So I expect Memphis to be able to keep this close. 7,500 is a great price for Triple J. Zach Edey would be a bit of a pinata play for you here. If you're just joining us at Snack Size, pinata play means a real swing at the fence. 4,700 for Zach Edey. He is really bouncing around with his DK scoring. I believe he had an 8 and a 16 DK point couple of games in the recent history, but he is also capable of 40 DK points any given night. So yeah, swing at the fence with Zach Edey if you feel like you need to land there. Detroit, pace up game here for the Pistons. We need to keep an eye on the Cade and Tobias news, obviously. Cade has been sitting back-to-backs recently. If he comes back in here, though, at 10-6, he's in a prime spot versus the Grizzlies at point guard. No issues playing Cade at 10-6 here. It is a high price. We do have a few high price options. He is definitely in a smash spot, though, versus the Grizzlies. And if Cade doesn't go on the back-to-back for whatever reason, you can take stabs at Dennis Schroeder at 6,500. That price is a little high for me. He is definitely capable of 35. I would say that this is going to be right around value for Schroeder if Cunningham is out. If Cunningham is in, obviously, you can just leave that alone. And the other guy to look at is Marcus Sasser at 3,500. I've dropped Sasser into my Draft Stars lineups, which is the Australian platform here today with Cunningham out. And if Cade can't go again, you can definitely look at Marcus Sasser. On the Detroit Pistons wings positions, Asar Thompson. So this is a play for me if Tobias Harris is not playing in this Saturday game, 6,300. Yo-yo scorer, I am much, much more comfortable playing Asar. In fact, he's one of the first guys I look at when Harris is out. The dude can get it done with scoring, but it's really all about peripheral stats, rebounds, assists, and those defensive stats with Asar Thompson. If Harris is out here, I definitely like Asar at 6,300. And Tim Hardaway Jr. would be a bit more of a pinata play. It's the shooting guard spots that I find very difficult to get right. They bounce around yo-yo style because they are so heavily dependent on field goal percentage, field goal attempts, and putting the ball in the bucket. But you can have stabs at 4,500. He has had some decent DK outings in the last 2 games. I like this if Tobias sits. Minnesota taking on Philly. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, this is a potential stack game for the Timberwolves. I've just left Anthony Edwards out here, 9,200, I want to say off the top of my head. Look, just hasn't been exceeding that. Yeah, he could absolutely burn through that price versus Philly, but we also saw him hurt that ankle in the last game. He did play through it, but I would be a little bit suspicious about his minutes in a potential blowout, and also just not getting it done anyway at that high price of mid $9K. The guys I do like here for Minnesota, Julius Randle. So actually, I think this is almost exactly the same as the last time I recorded, right? Julius Randle at 7,400. That's a $400 price drop. He only had 27 DK points versus Brooklyn when I had touted him to have a big one. Can't get them all right. 7,400 though. I still love this price for Julius. He only played 27 minutes for no apparent reason in that last game versus Brooklyn. Well, the apparent reason is probably field goal percentage he hit for. He was shooting 4 of 11, and coach probably just saw enough of that. I really like this though for Randall. 7,400 as a bounce back game. We can definitely attack Philadelphia at the big spots, power forward for sure. Rudy Gobert, 6,700 similarly. So Philly are one of the highest on the table for giving up fantasy points at the center position right now. He's been paying off in these spots, as I mentioned last time I recorded. So yeah, if you have a look at the spots where you can attack center and where Gobert played them, he had 53 versus Detroit. He had 50 versus Brooklyn, and he had 44 versus Phoenix. So 6,700 is a really good value for Rudy Gobert against a Philly team who would be the worst out of that lot for giving up points at the center spot. All in on Gobert here. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 3,600. This is a bit of a chase for me. He's on a heater. Again, it's that shooting guard spot that makes that difficult to narrate and keep up with, but it's a very cheap price for Noor, 3,600. Love that even more, especially it just becomes a smash easy chalk play if Edwards is limited or sits. DiVincenzo, 5K. His field goal percentage has been atrocious in the last 3 or 4 games, but he is also an option here if Ant can't go at 5K for DiVincenzo. On the Philly side of things, the only guy on the injury report of any note is Lonnie Walker, who's been ruled in for this Saturday game. 3 guys here. Quentin Grimes at the top of the price for Philly, 8,800. That's a little price drop, and I like it, but he's still only around value for me. Yeah, Quentin Grimes can burn you for 65 DK points any given night. I would rather attempt that where he's not in a tough matchup like he is here against the Timberwolves. The 2 guys I do like here are Dem Boner, 5,200. In his last 4 games, his minutes are right up around 30 or above, which is what we want to see. The DK scoring quite high as well. The center position at for Minnesota, we think of Rudy Gobert as this awesome defender, but that doesn't always translate to DraftKings scoring. In fact, Minnesota are one of the easier teams at center in the last month or so to score fantasy points at. So I like Adem Bona here at 5,200. The other guy entering here, who I haven't talked about for a little while, but has been getting it done in the last couple of games, is Gershon Yabusele, 5,400. Had a little injury, was out for 1 or 2 games, I want to say. Straight back to 35 minutes, though, and 37 DK points versus Milwaukee, do you mind? So 5,400 is a decent stab here for Gershon Yabusele. just keep in mind he is capable of just going missing. I think I saw a 19 DK point score in his last 4 games. Most of the other ones, though, should cover this $5,400 price. Milwaukee taking on Miami in Miami. This is going to be one of the slower games of the day. It is a back-to-back for the Bucks, but it's the Saturday-Sunday back-to-back, so we should have plenty of news to work with. The only guy here, based on pricing, based on matchup, that I'm interested in at all is Giannis. And to be honest, I'm not all that interested in it in a tough matchup versus Kellaway and Bam Adebayo rim protecting for Miami. 12-4 is a high price at the moment for Giannis. He's been hovering in those high 11Ks. Yeah, I missed the one where he dropped 92 DK points in the last game. You can't foresee that coming when the guy has really only been scoring around value. If you want to chase that up, I can't blame you. I will just probably leave Giannis out here again at the huge fear of getting burned for another 90 DK point outburst. The guys you can take stabs at on the Bucks. I didn't read the injury report. Giannis and AJ Green probable. We know that Lillard's out. Porter's still suspended. He's back in a couple of games. The guys you can take stabs at here for the Bucks, excuse me, would be Ryan Rollins at 4,900, Gary Trent Jr. at 4,300, Kevin Porter Jr. at 4,200, and AJ Green, if he plays, he is probable at 3,100. I actually like AJ here at 3,100, just a stab in the dark, very low pricing guy who can definitely get you 10x value here. With Lillard out, you can take stabs at any of these guys. I'd like to probably lean into AJ Green, but we know the other 3 guys are also capable. Washing machine at Milwaukee outside of Giannis at the moment. Oh, and Kyle Kuzma and Brook Lopez, but both of those guys are appropriately priced in this one in a tough matchup, so I just left them alone. Miami taking on the Bucks back the other way. Lots going on the injury report for Miami at the moment. We have Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson both ruled in for this one. So Robinson in always solidifies what may happen in the wing positions, although Eric Spoelstra does still love to throw stuff at us that we were not expecting. Tyler Hero, Haywood Highsmith, both questionable for this one. Obviously, Hero is going to be important. We also know that Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, and Kevin Love are all out for this Saturday game. Tyler Hero, questionable. If he plays, 9K. He's only had one decent game against Milwaukee this season. He had 39 and 34 DK points previously, but then put up 67 versus Milwaukee. I really like to attack the point guard spot on the Milwaukee Bucks when Dame is playing, especially. He is obviously not in here, but Hero at 9K is still a decent price, and he did put up 23 field goal attempts in that game versus the last game he played versus Memphis. That's where we need him to be, putting up a stack of shots. It's an okay price for Hero here at 9K. The guy I really like is Bam Adebayo, 8,700. His recent history, or his 3 games that he's played against Milwaukee this season, haven't been that good. 34, 37, and 31 DK points. So this feels like a pinata play, but what we can look at is the position of power forward, because Bam has slid across to the 4. Keller were starting at the 5. So the position of power forward in the Milwaukee team right now, Kyle Kuzma coming into that team on those in the 3 and 4 spot probably is telling us to why this is happening. They are quite high. In fact, I think they're top of the table for DraftKings scoring at the power forward position in the last 7 to 15 days, making Bam a good play here for me at 8,700. Terry Rozier is interesting, 3,900. Obviously, this would be a much safer play. In fact, probably a chalk play at that price if we know that Hero is out. It's a wild pinata play otherwise. 33 minutes and 33 DK points in the last game versus Washington. Note that Washington, but 3,900 for a guy who Spoelstra just threw into 30-plus minutes. It's a stab in the dark. It's a pinata play. I would be very, very careful, but if you have to land here and you like to take risks, Rozier is an option. The other guy to look at, Probably a safer floor than Rozier would be Pele Larson at 4,600. Who is Spoelstra going to play through these wing spots? Who knows? He is an okay GPP play, Pele Larson, if you happen to land there. The last game of this little 4-game card, Dallas taking on the Clippers. As I mentioned, they're playing today as well in the Friday-Saturday back-to-back. We haven't had a lot of team news for the Friday back-to-back, but you'll see the little reverse card there that I've dropped in here. That is because they are going to play each other Friday and then come into our game on the Saturday in the same matchup. So we will get data points on who does well in the Friday games. I am always wary of that because the easy thing for coaches to do, NBA coaches, is to look at who burnt them in the last game and make adjustments, right? That is why I also tend to limit my playing time or my game entries in the playoffs, because it is all about matchups. It is also all about the coaches tweaking things to get the next game back in their favor. So that all said, let's keep an eye on the news for Friday and for Saturday. At the moment for Dallas, PJ Washington has been ruled in on the Friday. There's a back-to-back concern straight away. Davis questionable on the Friday. If he plays the Friday, I'd be doubtful that he plays on the Saturday, which will open up a lot of things. Derek Lively close to a return, but out on Friday, and Kessler Edwards and Brandon Williams. Oh, there's too many Williams in the NBA. Brandon Williams, both injured and out of both games, I would say. So let's look at Anthony Davis back-to-back here, 9,400. That's a $200 price drop, which we like. He put up 68 DK points versus Atlanta. The Clippers are obviously very much a different team defensively to Atlanta, so keep that in mind. It's a tougher matchup. We know that the minutes now have been up around 30. I think his last 3 games, 30 minutes, 28 minutes, and 30 minutes. That's where we need Davis to be. Even higher would be lovely. If he plays here on the back-to-back, it's an okay play versus the Clippers. PJ Washington, 7,600. Watch that back-to-back, as I mentioned. If he plays the Friday today, he may not play the Saturday. Again, that will open up some stuff for other people if he's in here. The minutes have been fine, and now that he's returned from injury, it is a tough matchup. So my play here for PJ is if Davis sits, you can absolutely rock with PJ Washington at 7,600. The usage and some more rebounding will be there for PJ. The other guy to look at here, if we have either or these guys out, Anthony Davis or PJ Washington, you can look at Najee Marshall at 6,900. Spencer Dinwiddie, another usage play here for me. If we have one of these two bigger names out or bigger usage guys out, Davis or Washington, Spencer Dinwiddie at 6,400 will soak up some usage, get some more shots up. He may not hit them, but he will definitely not be afraid to shoot. That's a play for me if Davis or PJ sits. And the other guy to look at as a pinata is Klay Thompson. He's been doing much better consistently lately, 25 to 30 DK points for Klay. So 5,100 becomes a really nice price if, once again, we have one of those guys out, Davis or Washington. Big breath to get the last game in, or the last team in here. The Los Angeles Clippers on that reverse card back-to-back versus Dallas. On the Friday, we have Kawhi Leonard ruled in and Ben Simmons ruled out. Obviously, we need to watch backs-to-backs here for Kawhi. Although he has been playing back-to-backs lately, I would just be dubious about the minutes as well in back-to-backs for a guy with that kind of injury history and at his age. Therefore, I've left Kawhi out here. I think he was priced at 92 or 9,400, just around value for me. I like the pace-up matchup here, though, for James Harden. 9,800, it's an okay price. We need a Kawhi out for me to be much more interested in this. His DK scoring, James Harden, this year against Dallas hasn't been overwhelming. If Kawhi is not here, though, I do like the price for Harden of 9,800. Ivica Zubac, here's my guy on this matchup. 8,100, it's a pace-up matchup. We can absolutely smash attack Dallas at the center position at the moment. He's had previous history of 40 and 52 DK points. One of my favorite plays. here today on this card. Zubac at 8,100 and a couple of drop-in plays if, again, Kawhi might sit this back-to-back. Norm Powell, 6,600. His shooting has been absolutely terrible in his last few games. Rusty after he returned from absence with injury. 6,600, though. If Kawhi can't go here, I don't mind stabs at that for a potential peak Norm Powell game. And the other guy I'm interested in here is Bogdanovic at 3,900. Great price here if Kawhi sits. He may even get the start. Who knows? Favorite plays of the day. Cade Cunningham, questionable in this back-to-back, but if he plays versus Memphis in an absolutely beautiful spot, Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Sasser are your drop-in replacement guys if Cade can't go. Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert are my two guys at the bigger end of the spectrum versus the Philadelphia 76ers. I love Adem Bona here versus Mini back the other way. Bam is that high-priced, hasn't been getting it done versus this team, but I just have a feeling this is a big one for Bam Adebayo versus Milwaukee Bucks. One of my favorite plays today is Ivica Zubac at the Dallas Mavericks, and those drop-in plays if Kawhi can't go, Norm Powell and Bogdanovic versus Dallas. That is it for me today, guys. A short one, 4 games only. Please like and subscribe to the Old Man Squad Sports Network. I will be back, a couple of games or a couple of days in the next week, but then I believe I will be wrapping it up as we exit the regular season. Thanks so much for joining me today. It is back to Dan in the studio.
Another spectacular episode of Snack Size DFS. I'm just here to bid you adieu. Remind you guys to subscribe to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. We got so many awesome things coming up. Adam King, now a part of our network. All of his shows will be recorded video on YouTube as well. We have more coming, another big announcement coming next week of more content coming your way here on Old Man Squad. The network as a whole is such an awesome new show coming up. I hope you guys will give it a look. I'm Dan. Follow Brenton. Follow the network. We'll see you guys soon.